Welcome back, fight fans, to Gladiators of the Cage. North Shore Rise to Power 7 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the beautiful North Shore. We are at Stage AE, coming into our third bout of the night. We have Cody Hier versus Jon Rearick. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape, Mike.
Yeah, both these guys coming in at 145.
All right, and now our introductions for the fighters. Jon Rearick coming to the cage, 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds.
Yeah, his last fight was a loss via submission in the second round. So fighting a Renzo Gracie fighter, I mean, he's got to be careful about the submissions coming up here.
I don't know if you're noticing this here, Mike, but Rearick's his corners are really slapping the heck out of him before he walks into the cage. That must be a technique he uses to get fired up.
You know, some guys like that. The thing is, the first punch of the night that you feel, you probably don't want it to be from your opponent.
That's a good point. I agree.
I mean, it sucks when you get woken up when you're already inside the cage.
That's a very good point you have there, Mike. Rearick with a record amateur of 2 wins, 4 losses. As we said previously, his last fight was a loss versus Tyler Lucas Walsh via submission in the second round.
Yeah, and you'd have to think here, fighter he's fighting, Cody Miller here out of the Renzo Gracie Pittsburgh camp. You know he has to specialize in submissions. I mean, the name Renzo Gracie screams submission to everybody in the world. You're not going to have bad jiu-jitsu coming out of Renzo's.
Definitely. I'm excited to see what kind of a game plan Rearick has in store for the fight tonight.
I mean, my guess is this, you know, the kind of game plan you'd want from anybody fighting a Renzo Gracie fighter anywhere in the world. You probably want to keep it on your feet.
Absolutely.
You know, unless you have a similar level of grappling pedigree, I mean, you probably want to stand up here.
100%. Rearick looking very svelte. Rearick
looks like he's in good condition. 145. I mean, definitely trim. Looks ready to fight.
Probably has the coolest haircut that we've seen in so far tonight. Coming out to the cage next is Cody Hier, as we said, a Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu student. Now, I've had a chance to speak to Cody Hier personally, and I know that he moved here from Michigan, where he was a collegiate wrestler.
That's a very strong pedigree. You know, Michigan, much like Western PA, is an area with pretty good wrestling. And collegiate level, I mean, you know, that's a high-level athlete.
And you have to know about the focus of Cody Hier. He moved here from Michigan to fight. He moved here to go to Renzo Gracie's Jiu-Jitsu and become the best fighter he possibly could.
And, you know, that shows a lot of dedication to the craft, to the sport. You know, and just the thing about wrestlers, high-level wrestlers, collegiate-level wrestlers, competition experience. You're talking about a guy who's competed hundreds, if not probably thousands of times in wrestling competition. So it's just a lot easier for guys like that to walk into the cage.
Absolutely. Hier walking out to Danger Zone from the famous 1980s smash hit Top Gun.
I mean, and who isn't a fan of Kenny Loggins?
I know I am. Let's go to our ring announcer, Dan Bogan, for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next event is in the Gladiators of the Cage Advanced Amateur Featherweight Division, calling for 3 3-minute rounds. First, we have fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 142 pounds. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall with a record of 2-4. 23 years of age, from the legendary Evolution Fight Club in Butler. He hails from Leechburg, Pennsylvania, Jon Pretty Boy Rearick. And his opponent weighed in at 145 pounds. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, a 2-1 record, 27 years old. He fights for Stout Training in Renzo Gracie, Pittsburgh. He is from Davidson, Michigan, Cody Hier. Your referee, Chip Snyder.
Cody Hier, definitely the fan favorite here tonight. hailing from the local Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy in the Strip District of Pittsburgh, only a few minutes from the North Shore.
And I think that's an advantage too. I mean, fighting literally half a mile from the place you train. Comes out, shoots immediately, as you'd expect from a wrestler.
Beautiful turning single leg, running the pipe, was higher.
That's a single, pushes him up against the cage here.
Returns to the double leg and a big lift.
Rearick attempting to stay on the feet.
Doing a great job of thwarting the attempt of Hier.
Hier drives him all the way across the cage here. He is really looking to get this on the ground as fast as possible.
Hier doing a great job of hiding his head from Rearick. Important of note that this is a Tier 1 amateur fight in the state of Pennsylvania, which means there are ground and pound rules allowed. There are allowed to be punches to the head on the ground, which is a big difference that we saw in the earlier fights we had tonight.
Now there's still no kicks to the head. Oh,
big
lift
dump.
and slam, and this is exactly where he wants this fight to take place. And he can punch the head to the ground here. Still, no elbows to the head on the ground, no knees to the head on the ground.
Hier seeming comfortable in the guard of Rearick, although Rearick does have a guillotine wrapped around Hier's neck. Let's see if he can do anything with it.
I don't think he's under the chin here, and Cody is out.
Look for some ground and pound from Cody Hier as he pushes Rearick's head up into the fence.
Rearick probably going to try to cage walk here, get up the wall, get back to his feet.
Hier with a good guard pass game. Wow.
Hier just floats over the guard there.
Getting a good strong side control, using that right knee to keep the hip separated from him of Rearick.
Have not seen a lot of striking here on the ground from Hier. He looks to be playing a pure jiu-jitsu game.
I have to think with Hier's wrestling experience, he's unafraid, and with his jiu-jitsu experience, he's unafraid of the guard of Rearick. This may be a good opportunity for him to find a good posture and start raining down some blows.
And it looks like a stand-up by the ref for inactivity here.
Absolutely. Chip Snyder. Chip Snyder using his wisdom of the fight game to stand that back up. We know that these are short rounds. There's only 24 seconds left. Let's see some action.
Yeah, you're going to Hier shoots, but a nice sprawl by Rearick.
I have to say, Rearick's doing a really good job of stopping the game that Hier's trying to play, although I don't know if it's going to go in his favor for this round.
With this little time left, I can't see anybody giving this round to Rearick. Cody Hier landed 2 takedowns, spent most of his time on top, though. He did little to no damage. He dominated the round positionally, and I think that's going to be enough.
You know, and Cody Hier having such a high wrestling pedigree, I think that it's something you could notice whenever you have a guy that shoots a double leg or a single leg, gets sprawled on, and still ends up on top.
Yeah, and you'll notice in his corner, Warren Stout, he is a legitimate Renzo Gracie black belt. Very high-level jiu-jitsu at that camp.
You know, I always love that the Renzo Gracie guys sit their fighters facing away and into the cage. I think that it gives them the opportunity to take their mind and give a little mental rest, and they also get to see the rest of their team and get more advice from different people and get different tips.
I think that's a really interesting technique. You don't really see anybody else doing it, and I think it's novel, and it's a kind of good idea.
Very common with the Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu team in Pittsburgh. Coming into the second round, we have Cody Hier versus Jon Rearick. The crowd is chanting for Hier, saying Cody, Cody.
I imagine Hier's going to come out and try to do more of what he did in round 1. He's going to shoot takedowns and, try to stay on top.
Absolutely. I got the opportunity to commentate a fight between Jon Rearick and Chris Teague in Cleveland, Ohio at the Roxino fights. And it was a stand-up war, and I don't know if Cody Hier wants any part of the striking of Jon Rearick.
I doubt it. He doesn't look like that's his game plan at all.
Big takedown from Hier. I think Rearick needs to work on standing back up and implementing his own game plan.
Yeah, if Rearick is going to win this fight, it's going to be on the feet. I don't see a slick submission coming out of him here on the bottom, not with a wrestler and jiu-jitsu guy of his caliber. You know, he's going to have to stop the takedown.
And that can always go both ways. Perhaps we could find Hier finding himself a bit comfortable and leaving himself open to basic submissions or basic mistakes, but I don't know if that's going to happen with the way that those guys train over at Renzo's.
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible in fighting. But you know, statistically, it looks like the fight is going to go in one direction unless Rearick can land the big shot on the feet. But, I mean, Cody on the ground here, not doing a lot as far as damage goes. I mean...
To risk sounding derogatory, a lot of people call this lay and pray.
Yeah, that is the derogatory term when you have slow ground and pound. You know, and I'm not going to fault any fighter for that. I mean, you're here to win. I mean, impressing the crowd, having an acrobatic fight, if you will, that's secondary. I mean, you want the W.
Absolutely.
And especially with amateurs, I mean, your job is to get experience, to get comfortable in this environment, you know, for your pro career. Not necessarily to put on a spectacle.
Absolutely. Getting out of the comfort zone is something I think is better served in the gym, in training, in your sparring days. Cody Hier is very comfortable getting this takedown and working a nice slow ground and pound game, trying to take the wind out of Rearick.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing just enough to prevent Chip Snyder from standing them. You know, I don't see any major damage here. Rearick looked like he almost was out for a second, but Cody used that as an opportunity to pass the guard. Throw some knees to the body here.
Cody Hier is all over Jon Rearick.
Yeah, and he steps actually right back into the half guard there, which is, you know, kind of unusual, but some guys actually prefer half guard on top. You know, it's a dominant striking posture.
Absolutely. Rearick not having a very active half guard game right now. I can't understand why he wouldn't want to lock up a good lockdown
And
position.
here he passes the full mount, but only with a second left, so not much you can do with it there.
I have to think that's what Hier's been looking for this whole fight. Work a nice slow game, wait till he can get the pass and get the full mount, and that's when we're going to see the ground and pound unleashed.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hier easily has 2 rounds here just from positional dominance. So I think third round he's going to come out and do more of the same.
Absolutely. This portion of tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Garden of Paradise in Loretto, Pennsylvania, Armstrong County Memorial Hospital, and the Bearded Buck. It's all about the gobbles and grunts.
It is all about the gobbles and grunts.
I've always wondered what it was all about. I've heard people say, what's this all about? The gobbles and grunts is the answer. Hier again facing away from the opponent. I love this. I love the technical aspect of what they do in between rounds. Renzo Gracie's.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes right down from the top, from Renzo's camp in New York. I mean, all the way down to his affiliate schools. I mean, the tone is set by the top level men.
The crowd chanting Cody, Cody, Cody once again, looking for a third round
Come
finish.
Out, touch gloves as a sign of respect. Always nice to see.
Nice flicking jab by Rearick.
Cody shooting from the outside, no setup for that takedown.
Rearick easily moved off to the side and away from Hier, pushing on the head and keeping him at an awkward angle.
Nice kick by Rearick there.
Hier's camp calling for a couple of strikes throwing into that takedown attempt. I think that's a very wise move. Caught the kick and went for the takedown.
I say this could be the sprawl that Rearick was looking for, but no, Hier drives him into the cage.
Big dump once again by Cody Hier. Beautiful wrestling technique from the Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu School.
Lands on top of half guard, looking to pass here. Maybe looking to Kimura that far arm.
And the full mount is attained, and he's got the back, it appears.
Now is the back. He has one hook in. Should be looking for the second hook here.
He needs to get that right hook in. This is where the ground and pound can come in. This is where it comes into play, the third round. Halfway through the last round. Is Rearick, does he have enough energy to get out?
Rearick being scrappy, scrambling out of that position.
That answered my question right there, Mike. Very textbook wrestling here by Cody Hier.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, he hasn't fully made the transition yet to a full-on jiu-jitsu game. He's using a lot of wrestling technique here from the top. You know, but that's to be expected for a guy who's probably wrestled, you know, most of his life.
Full mount again attained by Hier, and Rearick was not able to roll and give the back or try to get out. Let's see if Hier can get off a few punches before the end of this third round.
50 seconds left. We'll see if Hier explodes, tries to maybe go for a finish here. I mean, you know, not much to lose. I think he's won the other 2 rounds easily. Probably won this round. See if he tries to fall off to an armbar or something with short time remaining.
As my close confidant from Cage Nation TV, Albert Paul, always says, he's killing them with 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
Slow and steady.
Also, right now, he's in his own corner, so Hier can get direction from his camp, who's right outside the cage there.
If you notice, he's been in his corner, I think, most of the fight. Very, very technical on the side of Cody Hier.
Yeah, 10 seconds left. I think he's just going to be content to ride this out, throw some punches here.
Big scramble. And that is the end of the third. I have to say that would go to Hier on the decision.
Yeah, I think it's an easy 3 rounds to none here. I mean, you know, though Rearick, I mean, doesn't look particularly damaged. All the positional dominance, all the takedown for Hier. You know, this is an easy decision to make.
Easily. This could have very easily been a good collegiate wrestling match. I would say a one-sided collegiate wrestling match, but Hier showing his pedigree once again in the Gladiators of the Cage, circular cage.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that Rearick really should have expected, you know, going in there with this kind of opponent. But I mean, you can know what your opponent's going to do. It doesn't necessarily mean you can stop it.
Absolutely. Rearick did show a couple of good answers to the shots of Hier, but in the end, it was all for nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Rearick shows promise here. I mean, he seems athletic. The few times he got to throw on his feet, he looked fast, confident, and crisp.
Durable.
He had some nice sprawls. He just really couldn't finish the sprawl just due to the wrestling level that Hier brings to the game here.
Definitely. Cody Hier has a very fast shot, doing a really great job every time of getting into the hips of Jon Rearick.
You know, and that's one of the things you're going to see at the amateur level.
Let's take a minute to go to our ring announcer, Dan Bogan, for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges scored it 30-27 for your winner, fighting out of the blue corner, Cody Hier!
Congratulations, Cody. You did a phenomenal job neutralizing your opponent's stand-up game. Was it your plan to have this fight on the ground from the beginning?
Oh, absolutely. The whole time.
Is there anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
All my teammates at Henzo Gracie Pittsburgh, my family, my friends that made it out tonight. I love all you guys. Happy birthday to my boy Chuck.
Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Give it up for Cody Hier!
Big win by Cody Hier of Henzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, implementing a perfect game plan versus Jon Rearick. I don't know. What do you have to say about that, Mike? That was a very one-sided fight.
I mean, it was a one-sided fight, not a ton of damage, but I think basically it was a perfect game plan. He came in there and did exactly what he wanted to do.
Now we have Cody Hier moving on to another win in his career, and let's have a word from our sponsor.